So in this tutorial, let's recreate a grammar Glee project. So the title of the project that I gave is grammar Glee. It's a kind of grammar test. So in this grammar test, we as a candidate, probably as a student, they will answer 10 questions. So every single question, we can choose maybe the right answer or maybe the wrong answer. So for example, if I choose this one, it's gonna be false. If I choose this one, grammatically it's gonna be correct, right? So and then when we click next and previous button, we will go to the next question. If I want to go back, we can click the previous PDF. So this is very simple if you can follow step by step. So here you will see some noticing thing like when I click this button, the progress indicator colors are changing. So when I go to question 5, so the number 5 color is changed. So for that, let's recreate. So here's I already write HTML code. Be honest, these are written by AI generation. These are code from AI. So I will open with live server. Okay, I will open with live server. So this is our starting version. This is our starting page. So currently you see all questions are displaying on the page. So we don't need to be like that. So instead of, you see, we just only need to display the first question or only just one question at a time. So when we click this button, we go to this question. That's what we want to do. So first of all, let's do that. So for this, so this is our original project. So this is our imitated project. So let's do that. So first of all, I will create a JavaScript file. I will give that file name action.js. So let's combine with JavaScript and HTML. So before the end of body tag, I will use script tags and I will also use src attribute. So I will get the action.js right there. Okay, that's what I want to do. Okay, first of all, I think we have to think about the algorithm. So here we had 10 questions. So this does mean we had to answer 10 answers. So 10 questions, the number of the questions is 10. So let's we declare a variable. So first of all, I will declare a variable. You can use const keywords or let keyword, it doesn't matter, but I will use let keyword. So the number of total question is gonna be q, total q equal to 10 questions. So to display every single question at a time, one question at a time, we had to retrieve every single question. So when we check it, HTML, we will see every single question element, they have the same class name. This is the question, this is the question. So they have the same class name. So for that, I will use document.query/all. So they have the same class name questions. So when we use query/all, we will get an array. So for that, when we get an after we got array, we will assign into a variable. So I will get that name. This is array. So that's why I will get questions array. Okay. So to make sure when we check console.log, so we can check inspect, right click inspect, and we can check console. So we will see 10 questions element that's we want to get. So okay, so now we continue. So we will only need to display only one question at a time. So for that, we will loop every single question through using for each method. So here we will parse 2 arguments. The first one is the question, the second one is the index. So I will loop through with call fashion. So the first, so we will use style.display. If here we had to think about if the index or question if the index of questions is only one is equal to 0, we will display that question. So here we can use block or we can use flash property, CSS property. If it is not, here we use ternary operator. So we will hide that question. Okay, when we check it, it will display only the first question right there. So that's what we want. Okay, so and then we see that here the original project, when we start the page, we see the first number one is green color, its background color is green color, so it's kind of like active sign. So for doing to like that, we're gonna do retreat again for every single progress indicator. So here also again, I will get progress array. It is me progress indicator array, so I will use document chorus letter or. So progress indicator also, they had the same class name. They had the same class progress cycle. So for every single progress indicator, they had a class name. So we will use document chorus letter. Document chorus letter or, so we will get an array. So you can check to make sure console.log progress array. So when you check it right here, inspect and console.log, so you will see 10 progress cycle elements. So that's what we want, but only the first progress indicator has to be green color. So for that, we will loop through again right here. So this is an array, so we can use for each method. We can use for each method. So when we loop through every single progress indicator, we can check with copy fashion. So here within the fashion, we will parse two elements. The first one is progress indicator cycle, and the second one is index. So through looping every single progress indicator, we will change their background color. That's when we use style property, and we will use not display. Right here we use background color. Okay, this time we will check their index. If the first, so we have to think about the first index. So in an array, the value of the first index is usually 0, right? It's mainly 0, right? So that's why if it is equal to 0, we use ternary operator, which we get green color. If it is not equal to 0, we get soft gray color. Okay, so that's what we want. Now we change the colors, and then we had to think about the burdens. So when we click this burden, we go to the next question. For that feature, how we gonna do that? So we had to listen every single burden's click effect. So for that, we will see where is the burden DOM element. So here is the burden elements. We have previous burden, we have next burden, we have submit burden, we have the restart burden. So for every single burden, I will drawing it right here. So these are burdens, I will get that. So first of all, we use document chorus letter, not all. So here we have to use hash because they use ID, right? So this is the previous BDN. So this is next BDN. So this is submit BDN. And finally, this is restart BDN. So this is questions array. So this is progress INDICATOR indicators. Okay, that's what we want. Now we had to assign to a variable. So I will give the name previous BDN, the same colors, the same ID name. Okay, right here, I will get next BDN, and this time I will get CBMID submit BDN. So this time I will get current restart BDN. Okay, we got 4 BDNs. So first of all, we will think about let's think about the next BDN. So one click for next BDN, we can listen at event listener. So one click event is occur, we will call it callback fashion. So first of all, let's we check with console.log. So hello next BDN, we do like that. So when we click next BDN, like we check right here console. So I click next BDN. Yeah, now we know that is added. So first of all, how we gonna do? So when we click next BDN, we will go to the next question. So it's related to question index, right? So we will display the second question. If we click previous button, we will go to the back previous question. Okay, we will, so this BDN can go to forward. So it will do increment. So here we have to think about question index. If we click first time we click, we go to the second index, the second element of question array. So for that we will have to declare another variable. So this time I will get Q index, that means question index. So in an array, the starting point or the initial index is 0. So I will get 0. So when I click it, we have to compare something else. So that's gonna be question index. So here I will use if statement. If question index, so that means we keep continue to the last question. So we have to compare to the last question index, right? So that's why I will do smaller if Q index is smaller than last question index. So if we want to get the last question index, we will use question array.length -1. This is last index. So if this statement is correct, we will go to the next question, right? So for go to the next question, we had to hide the current question. So here we will use questions array, so we have to hide current question. So the current question index is 0. So style display we had to hide. So that's why we had to use display none. So when we check it, when we click, so it will hide the first question. So instead we had to do increment for question index. So for that I will do, so I had to do increase by 1, and then we had to display next question. So for that Q index, we had to display the current question. Those display, I can use flags of block. So when we do it, yeah, we will display next question, next question, next question, next question. But it will stop when it arrives to the question 10. It will stop like that. So we had to think about for the previous button. So when we click previous button, we will go back. So now it doesn't know work yet. So for that, we had to listen previous BDN at event listener. So when click even is occur, we will call a callback fashion. So this time we had to compare Q index with the first initial index. So what is the first initial index? So the first initial index is 0, right? So if Q index is greater than 0, we will do the same code. We will do the same, how to say, the same procedure execution. So right here we will do this again. So I will copy this code line and I will paste right here. So I will paste right here. So okay, but this time we cannot do increment because previous button is go to back like go to previous question. So we had to do instead decrement. So here we had to use minus sign. So when we check it, okay, I will click next video, I will click previous video. So it will go to the first question, go to previous question, right? So that's we want. Okay, now, okay, let's we check it the original version. So here when we go to the last question, it will display submit button. After clicking submit button, we will hide this progress indicator about questions and previous and next buttons altogether. You see, instead it will display only the school test and restart video. So for that, if here we had to write here, sorry, if question indent is equal to questions array length -1, I mean like Q indent is equal to latest indent, we will display submit button. So we use style display, it's gonna be block. Okay, so when we check it, we can use flex or block, it doesn't matter. So when we reach to the question 10, it will display this. Yes, that's what we want. But here one thing, if we click previous button, it will hide again submit button. So for that we had to write for the feature in the previous button, if question indent is less than questions array length -1, we will hide that submit button again. The submit button style display is gonna be none again. Okay, that's what we want. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, when we click previous button, we hide again. And then we had to think about the next feature. Okay, here is when we click next button, it will change the progress indicator color. So how we gonna do that? It sounds interesting, right? So here again, we will check progress indicator array. So we will loop progress indicator array. So I will use progress indicator array. Here I will use for each method, and it will have two arguments, progress indicator and index. So here we have to check index, the index of progress indicator. If so, this index of progress indicator is less than equal to current question index. So it will change the color. So it's gonna be white color, and then the progress indicator background color is gonna be green color. So that's what we want. So when we check it, yes, it changed the color. So if it is not equal to or not less than, so we will change to default color. So for that, style.color. So for that, we will remove the colors again. So we get empty string. Background color is also empty string. So this is what we're gonna do. Here, the important things, we have to compare the index of progress indicator and Q index. So if progress indicator index is less than or equal to Q index, it will execute this code. So if only when the condition is true, it would change the color. If the condition is not true, it will not run this code. So here, this we want. Here we also use for each method. If the condition is true, we will keep looping. At the first state, it will loop through every single progress indicator, but only when index is less than equal to Q, and it will change the color. Okay, so this code below we will use. Sorry. In the previous button, we will use here again. Yes. So when we check it, yeah, it does work as we hope. Yeah, yes, 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 that's what we want. But here's we see the code repetition, so we don't like that. So instead, we create a fashion, current, progress, indicator, color, change. I will give that fashion name. So within the fashion, I will write these codes. So instead of these codes are written again, I will give that progress indicator color change fashion. So here also, I will call that fashion as it's called by fashion. So progress indicator color change. So when we check it again, yeah, it works that we hope. So that's what we want. So now we almost finished some features. So now we will check it grammatically again. So here, when we click, lastly, when we click submit button, we will check every single chosen answer. If a candidate, probably if a student choose, they may choose the right or the wrong answer, but we have to check every single their chosen answer. So for that, we go to the GS. So for that, we had to listen when we click submit button. So we will listen click event. So click events occur, we call it copy fashion. Okay, right there. So here, so when we submit button, we will display this task and restart button. So first of all, we had to check every single answer. So when we check here, so we will see input. We see input elements. So we had to check input element. So for getting input element right here, we will use document the query selector again, but this time we will use template letter and we will use input elements. So within the input element, you will see there is a name attribute, right? So we copy this name attribute, right? And also every single input element, it has different values. So this, for this example, there is a true value. There are 3 false values. For this, I will copy this name attributes, and then we only check for check answer by the student. So for that, I will assign into a variable. So I will get chosen answer input element. So here you will see that this is for question 2. When you check it for question 3, you will see this number is always changing. So for that, we cannot set it as a default value. So we will always change that value. So here we will choose $sign, and we parse a variable. Okay, for that. So when we answer every single question, so we had to check every single answer. So totally we had to choose 10 answers for 10 questions. So we had to loop through every single answer. So for that, I will use for loop let I equal to, we're starting from question 1. So I will work under less than 10 because we had 10 questions, right? So I will do increment for I. So within that looping, we will call this. So right here, these questions all can be changed. So that's why I will parse I right there. So to be sure, we can check console.log. So right here, we will, sorry. So when we check it, so when we go to our project, so here I will choose this answer, and I will clean this button, and then I will check this one. I will clean this button, Okay, for example, I will clear this one. Okay, I will choose this one, and I will do this one. Okay, I will skip for these 3 questions. So finally, when I submit, you see we will see our chosen input elements. So every single input element has their own value right here. So for this, so we had to compare, we had to check those answers. So for that, we will use if statement. So choose an answer element and we will check their value. If their value is equal to true, we will increase the score. So that for that we had to declare score variable. So first of all, I will give the value 0. So every single correctness, if the condition is state, I will score value. So we use increment operator here. So for that, after getting score, we had to display the score. So to display the score, I will create another fashion. So display score fashion. So I will use arrow 6 fashion, cover fashion. Okay, display score. So for displaying score, we will display this task right here. This time and restart button, right? So first of all, for getting to display that score, we had to choose our zone element right there. So this, we had to select these 2 elements. So I will document the queries letter. So this is result score dot style dot display. It's gonna be I will give a lot property. So, and then this one is queries letter. This time we had to use hash, and we had to parse this test. So that's one we use English HTML. So sorry. So this time I will display this test. So here we had to remember that this value can always change because depending on our score value. So instead right there, I will choose $sign and I will press that score value. So I will get a score variable. So here we cannot use double quotes. Instead we have to use template letter. Okay, that's what we want. So after we get in the score, we will call this display score fashion. So when we check our project, when we call our project, so I will go to, I will answer, okay, at least I will answer this one. So when I submit, so we will display the score value, but right here it does not display anything. So because this is spelling is wrong, SCOR score. Okay, so when we submit burden, you see we had to hide our progress bar and also question and also previous burden and this burden. So for that, so first of all we hide those things. So document the queries letter. So when we had to hide the query progress bar, so here is the progress bar. So we had to select this class name. So right here we had to use dot and we had to hide the progress bar. We will use the sign dot display. So to hide the progress bar, I will get the known property. So next thing queries letter. So this time we had to hide restart and next burden, previous burden, and also submit burden we had to hide. So it has the burden container. So right here we had to hide this burden container. So we had to use not door is hash. So we had to hide style dot display right there, and we will get the node, and we will hide every single questions. For that, I will use questions array. For each method, I will use that. So every single question we will hide a question dot style dot display is gonna be none. Okay, that's what we want. And then finally we had to display restart version. The display is gonna be flash or block. We can use anything. Okay, so when we check again, so I will answer this one. I think this is the correct one, the right one. Okay, now I shoot 3 correct answer, I think, for grammatically correct. Yeah, I will display like this. So the final feature is when we click restart button, it will refresh the whole web page. So for that feature, we have to listen. This is restart web page. I will get. So we will listen restart btn at event listener. So when click events is occur, I will call it cover fashion. Okay, right there. So this time we will use window object and we use location method. And within location method, I will call reload method. So when I use this, so when we go back, so I will choose this answer. Okay, let me check my grammar. I think this is correct answer, and this is correct answer. I think this is correct answer. I think the books along with the magazines on the table. I think this is correct answer. And then this is correct answer. There was so bad. I think the correct answer is this, I guess. Yeah, our answer submit. Yeah, I got 10 out of 10. So when I click this restart button, it will start the whole the whole web page. So I hope you guys really understand this program. So just follow step by step. So it's very simple. So okay, see you in the next tutorial. I will start here. So don't forget to like and subscribe my channel. Okay, see you in the next tutorial.